Next, question number 51. Which of the following dwarf planets is also have the status of an asteroid? Okay, so option 1 Haumea, 2 Eris, 3 Ceres, 4th one Pluto. Okay, so let's see. So these are the 5 dwarf planets in our solar system: Ceres, Haumea, Eris, Makemake and Pluto. So out of this Ceres dwarf planet, it is also found in the asteroid belt. So that's why it is having the status of both asteroid and a dwarf planet. Okay. So according to the explanation, so it is Ceres A31. Okay, so A31. So next one, question number 52. So what is or reasons for the removing Pluto from the status of a planet? Okay. So it is too small in size. Next, its gravitation force is low. Next, it has not thrown out the objects of the neighborhood in its path. Its path around the sun is not in order. Okay, so let's see the explanation. So before 2004, we know that we have the 9 planets in our solar system. But thereafter, due to the identification of the discovery of the good number of telescopes, scientists started claiming the identification of the new stars and planets, or the dwarf planets, or the satellites. So before that, or till that, there was no proper definition for the planets. So based on that, International Astronomical Union, they met and so they gave some brief discussions, and they gave some rules or the principles. So to call any celestial body as a planet, what are the criteria it has to follow? So first condition is it has to rotate on its own axis and revolve around the sun. The first condition is clear: it should rotate on its own axis and it should go revolution around the sun. Second statement, it should be very larger in size, and its shape should be perfectly round in shape. Its mass and size should be very bigger, and its shape should be roughly round, so that it assumes the hydrostatic equilibrium. Then the third statement is it should be revolving around the sun. It should be revolving around the sun independently. That means because of its high amount of mass and gravity, it should attract its neighboring orbits. So, or else it should clear its orbital path, and it should be revolving around the sun independently. This should be the third criteria, or this is the third criteria. The Pluto satisfied first and second rules, but it failed to satisfy the third rule. That's why it removed from the status of planet, and now it is kept under the dwarf planet category. Okay. So according to the explanation, its path around the sun, it is almost all the celestial bodies are revolving around the sun in elliptical orbit. This is not the criteria. So it has not thrown out the objects of the neighborhood in its path. That means it is carrying all the minor celestial bodies in its orbital path and revolving around the sun. But it has satisfied the first and second rules, so it is called as the dwarf planet. So minor planet. So that's why according to the explanation, it is only 3. Only third statement is correct. Clear? Question number 53. Match the following list A with the list B. So here is the list of planets, and this side we have the name to the planets according to Greek mythology. So option this side we have Mercury, Mars, Jupiter and Venus. So in the list B. So Mercury, according to the Greek mythology, it is called as the god of commerce or skills. Mars, it is called as the god of wars. Jupiter is called as the king of gods. And whereas the Venus is called as the goddess of beauty because of its highest amount of temperature, around 400 degree temperature is found on the Venus surface because of the good amount of carbon dioxide in its surface. So it is acting as a greenhouse gas, and its temperature is around 400 degrees Celsius. Okay. So according to the explanation, Mercury, goddess of commerce. A. Mars, goddess of wars. B. Jupiter, king of gods. C. So D. Venus. This. Okay. C, D, B, A. For 1, it should be C, 2, B, 3, B, 4, A. So option A is correct one. Clear? This is how the planets go. Clear? So Mercury is called as the god of commerce and skill. Venus, because of its highest amount of temperature, it is called as the god of beauty. So the god of beauty. So Earth is nothing but the blue planet or the living planet because of the 70% of the water on its surface. In Mars, it is called as the god of war, whereas Jupiter is called as the king of gods. Saturn is famous for the god of agriculture, and Uranus is called as the god of sky, and this is called as the god of sea. It is all according to the Greek mythology, because Greeks were the first to explore about the geography subject. That's why they planned all the planets according to the Greek mythology. Okay. Next question number 54. Which of the following planet is called as a failed star? The range. Option is S, Mars, B, Jupiter, C, Venus, D, Uranus. Yeah. Let's. Here is the Jupiter. So Jupiter is called as the failed star because it is a very massive star. We know that it has a good amount of satellites also. Its internal composition is also almost equal to stars, hydrogen, helium. So, though it was supposed to become a star because it has the same chemical composition just like the stars, but its internal temperature is not sufficient to support the nuclear fusion reaction. To call it as a star, it should have the self-illuminating orbit. It should have the self-light. Why the self-light comes? Because of the nuclear fusion reaction, they emit the heat and light. But the Jupiter is having a good amount of hydrogen and helium, which are the main fuels for the nuclear fusion reaction, but its internal temperature is very low. For the nuclear fusion reaction, it should be almost crores of degree temperature, but its internal temperature is very less. So it will not support the nuclear fusion reaction, though it was supposed to become a star. It is a failed star. Clear? So correct option is B, Jupiter. Question number 55. Satellite with an Earth-like atmosphere. Though we know that almost all the planets have the good number of satellites except Mercury and Venus. From the Earth, all the satellites begins. So we have our own and only satellite is Moon. Our official name of the satellite Moon is Luna. That's why it called as a lunar eclipse. But the satellite like Earth-like atmosphere. So it is option C, Titan. Look at the explanation here. This is the Saturn and this is the Titan satellite. It is having the layered atmosphere. Just like our atmosphere is having the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. Similarly, the satellite of the Titan atmosphere is also having the layered structure. That's why it is called as the Earth-like atmosphere. So it is option C. Okay. Then comes the question number 56. Which of the following sentences related to meteors is incorrect? So must be very careful about the remaining incorrect or correct statements. First statement is, these are made up of rocks, metals and dust particles. Very right. When they explode in the Earth's atmosphere, they are called as the shooting stars or the meteors. Very correct. When they fall on the surface of the Earth, they are called as the meteorites. Then, one example is Lunar Lake has been formed in the Madhya Pradesh due to meteor shower. So let's see the explanation. We know what are meteors. See, we have the Mercury, Venus, Earth and Mars. After that, we have the asteroid belt. What are asteroid belt? They are the remnants left after the formation of the inner planets. So all the inner planets are also called as the terrestrial planets because they are made up of the rocks, metals and dust particles. That's why we have the hard solid surface or the lithosphere. But whereas the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, these are called as the Jovian planets of the gaseous planets, and these two, Uranus and Neptune, are called as the frozen planets. Because the temperature is very low, it is almost minus 200 degrees Celsius. So these are the asteroid belts. Once these asteroid belts are also made up of the rocks, metals and dust particles, when these rocky debris, they get separated from the asteroid belt, they are called as the meteors. Okay, meteors. If this rocky debris is huge enough, so it may get burned in the Earth's atmosphere. Meteorite. Okay. So when it is burning in the Earth's atmosphere, because in the Earth's atmosphere you have the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. In the thermosphere, the temperature is up to 1000 degrees Celsius. Once it reaches the mesosphere, it is hardly minus 100 degrees Celsius. Because of the very low temperature, the pressure will be very high. So because of the high pressure with the air particles, so it gets, because of the friction, it gets burned. That we call it as the shooting stars or the meteors. So if the size is very larger one, its a remnant may fall on the Earth's surface. That we call it as the meteorite. So it is three words. Meteor, meteorite, meteorite. Okay. So, meteorite, meteor, and meteorite. These are the three words. The same object, based on its location, it is called with a different names. Once it gets separated from the asteroid belt, it is called as the meteorite. Once it is moving in the inner planet zone. If it falls on the Earth's atmosphere and it gets burnt, means we call it as the meteor or the shooting star. It's usually in the ionosphere or the mesosphere. So if its remnant falls on the Earth's surface, we call it as a meteorite. So because of the falling of the meteorite, we have the trench-like structures on the Earth. If those trench areas get filled with the water, we call it as the lakes. So they are nothing but the meteor lakes. Best example is our Donor Lake, but it is found in the not Madhya Pradesh, it is in Maharashtra. It is one of the geological heritage site also. Clear? So according to the explanation, let's see. These are made up of rocks, metals, and dust particles, right? When they explode in the Earth's atmosphere, they are called as the shooting stars, right? When they fall on the surface of the Earth, they are called as the meteorites. Meteorite. Then Donor Lake has been formed in the Maharashtra, not in the Madhya Pradesh. So incorrect statement is C4 only. Okay, only 4 is correct. Rest all are the correct one. Next, which of the following objects is called as the dirty snowballs? Very interesting question. Option A says Uranus and Neptune. B, Kuiper object and the comets. C, asteroids and the meteors. D, none of the above. Next. So as we discussed, within the solar system, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, their remnants are called as the asteroid belts. Then comes the Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, and their remnants are called as the Kuiper belt objects. These are also called as the dirty snowballs. Because as they are a bit far away from the sun, temperature is almost minus 200 degrees Celsius. Because of this, the dust particles, which are part of the solar system, they are completely frozen. That's why they are called as the dirty snowballs also. When these Kuiper belt objects, they are also made up of they are the remnants of the outer planets we know that. They are also made up of the hydrogen, helium, methane, and ammonia. So along with that, they have the dust particles also. So all these gas particles and the dust particles, they are completely frozen. That's why they are called as the dirty snowballs. Okay. So according to the explanation, so it is the Kuiper objects and the comets. Because from the Kuiper objects only, the dust particles, if they escape from the Kuiper belt objects, we call it as the comets. Okay. So option B. Next question number 58. Which of the following planets has the highest density? Okay. So it's a very easy question. Option A is Jupiter, B, Venus, C, Saturn, and D, Earth. So we know that within the solar system, Earth is the only planet that has a good amount of liquid water. That is up to almost 70 to 71% of the water. So because of excess water only, the Earth is the highest densest planet. So in contrast to this one, Saturn is the least densest planet. Okay. So option B. Next question number 59. Which of the following sentences is correct regarding the planet Venus? Okay. It completes first 1 year, then 1 day. Okay, it's a very peculiar planet. Next, the direction of its rotation is opposite to that of the other planets. Next, it is closest to planet Earth after Mars. Next, its atmosphere has very little carbon dioxide. So, question is demanding the correct statement. Let's see. So, this is the image of the Venus planet. So, it is located second after the Mercury. Here, so its internal temperature is almost 400 degrees Celsius. Compared to all other planets, Venus and Uranus, Uranus and Venus, they rotate in east to west direction, whereas all the other planets they rotate from west to east. Moreover, Venus rotation speed is nearly 257 days, whereas for one revolution around the Sun, it will take 224 days nearly. Earth days. Okay, so for one rotation, it will take 224 days, and for one rotation, it will take 257 days, and for one revolution, it will take 224 days. That means it will complete first 1 year, then it completes 1 day. Clear? So for 1 day, it will take 257 days. For 1 year, it will take 224 days. That means nearly 25 days difference. So that means it will complete first 1 day, then it completes to 1 year. Okay. So it is correct statement. Then the direction of its rotation is opposite to that of the other planets. Okay, so along with the Uranus, Venus also rotates from east to west. That's why on the Earth we call it as the morning and evening star. Okay, so it is closest planet to Earth after Mars. No, this is incorrect. Okay, it is the closest planet to Earth. Then comes the Mars. That's why both Venus and Earth are called as togetherly called as the twin planets. Okay, both Venus and Earth are called as the twin planets. Similarly, the Uranus and Neptune are also called as the twin planets. Again, white is called as the brightest planet of the goddess of beauty because its internal temperature is 400 degrees Celsius. Why the temperature is very high? Yeah, compared to Mercury, it is the second planet. According to the logic, Mercury should have the highest temperature, but in contrast, it is the Venus. Yeah, why? It is rich with the carbon dioxide. Nearly 90% of the Venus atmosphere is made up of the carbon dioxide. That's why the carbon dioxide will act as the greenhouse gas. It will not allow the radiations of the terrestrial radiations of the Venus to escape to the space. That's why all the heat energy is trapped. So temperature is around 400 degrees Celsius. Okay. So the atmosphere has very little carbon dioxide. No, it has a good amount of carbon dioxide. It is the closest planet to Earth after Mars. No, it is the first nearest planet to Earth. So its rotation is opposite to that of the other planets. Okay, it's complete first 1 year, then complete 1 day. So first and second statements are correct, and third and fourth are wrong. So according to the explanation, it is 1 and 2. So it is the correct statement. Clear? Last question of this episode. Okay. The latitudes are drawn at an angular distance to which of the following lines? Okay. So grid pattern. Question option is A, grid pattern. The Greenwich longitude, C, Earth axis, and the circle of illumination. Let's see. We know this. These are the imaginary lines, latitudes. To point out any place on the Earth, we need both latitudes and longitudes. The intersection of the latitudes and longitudes will give a particular location on the Earth. Clear? Okay. So these are the latitudes. These are the major lines drawn connecting east to west, which are located at an angular distance from the equator. So equator is the line which divides the Earth into two equal halves. Moreover, these are imaginary lines. The upper part is called as the northern hemisphere, and the southern one is called as the southern hemisphere. From this here, we mark the 90-degree angles. Okay, so 10, 20, 30. So almost we have the 90 latitudes in the northern, 90 latitudes in the southern hemisphere. These are located at an angular distance from the equator. What the 60-degree latitude indicates, it is located at an angular distance from the equator. Clear? So all the latitudes are drawn at an angular distance from the equator. So option A is correct. Clear? So this is the end of the third episode. We have completed the 60 questions. Okay. For more updates, please do regularly watch the Times Academy. Clear? So myself, Karun, signing. Clear?